Hello, guys, and welcome to today's episode of Dominion 6 Lore. Today, we will be taking a look at the story of Katis and its lizard people. It's a very interesting one, so let's get started. Please enjoy. In the early ages, Katis, lizard kings. Katis is a swampy river valley surrounded by sandy deserts. In the fertile valley, a sacred kingdom of lizard-like humanoids has formed. The kingdom is ancient by human standards, and its wisdom and magical knowledge is great. At the top of the society is the Lizard King and his royal heirs. The king is the highest priest of Katis. Under the king are the high priests with their sacred serpents and the enigmatic sauromancers, great mages of death and rebirth. The lizards are herbivores but have enslaved a race of carnivorous lizardmen who serve as soldiers and workers. The Ctesians are somewhat slow in movement, but have thick hides that protect them from cuts and bruises. Both lizard races are cold-blooded and become exhausted very quickly when fighting in cold provinces. They have partial resistance to poison. The inhabitants of Katis prefer to live in warm provinces. In the Middle Ages, Katis, Maisma. With the coming of the new god, the swamps of Katis have begun to spread. Dense rain and oppressive heat turned the lands into unhealthy marshlands, thick with stench of rotting vegetation. Marshmasters have taken the place of the Sauromancers of old, and the Swamp Guard has replaced the chariots as elite troops. In this land, the lizards prosper. Within provinces influenced by this dominion, income is increased by 1% per level of dominion, and the income of enemy provinces is reduced by 5% per level of dominion. Unless cold-blooded, soldiers inside the Dominion will suffer from disease. The new god and all their security units are immune to this effect. In the late ages, Katis, desert tombs. Katis is a river valley surrounded by sandy deserts. Once the valley was fertile and great swamps surrounded the great river. Now the deserts spread and the swamps grow fewer and smaller each passing year. The valley is the home of an ancient sacred kingdom of lizard-like humanoids. In ancient times, the high priest of Katis mastered the craft of embalming to preserve the remains of their kings. Since the dawn of the kingdom, tombs have been constructed in the desert to contain the mummified kings and priests. With the awakening of the god, the Sauromancers, great mages of death and rebirth, have re-emerged and taken the place of the Marshmasters. Through studies of ancient lore, they have perfected dark rituals that awaken the kings of old to lead the stirring dead as the lizard kings lead the kingdom of the living. At the top of the Ctesian society is the Lizard King. The king is the highest priest of Katis. Under the king are the high priests and the enigmatic Sauromancers. After a great rebellion, most of the carnivorous lizard men were slain or fled to distant lands. There is a widespread fear that the predators and their Sobek masters will return, as foreseen in the seventh book. The Ctesians are somewhat slow in movement, but have thick hides that protect them from cuts and bruises. The lizardmen are cold-blooded and become exhausted very quickly when fighting in cold provinces. They have partial resistance to poison. The inhabitants of Cadiz preferred to live in warm provinces. The tomb kings and tomb priests are able to reanimate the dead. So what did you think of the story of Cadiz? Of what other game did this race remind you of? I thought of the Argonians of Skyrim the whole time while reading this. What did you think of their approach to magic and the enslavement of their own people? If you enjoyed the story, please leave a like and comment on what you want me to cover next.